itself. You came in later.
Okay. My question is, you
introduce
I'm Push Jain. I'm from EIA Resource and Response Center, which is a program of live legal initiative of forest and environment. Some of you know me. What I'm saying, Somi, you said one of the challenges is land. That certainly is there. The issue is, what about, taking up of the other programs? Rooftop is not taken up in a big way. I mean, at least we should look into it, that how we can start that process and, take it to the next level. So maybe there will be learning of the course while we go along, and there may be some way out of that.
Maybe we can take 4 or 5 questions and then start answering or start. That'd be good.
So sir, I have this question that we are like.
नाम दोबारा बोल दीजिए रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है.
So my name is Kalika. I'm from Live.
Kindly target, but if you have any one speaker whom you are targeting or otherwise.
So I have this question from you that we are going so like in favor of solar energy. We are not considering the cons, like the area requirement as you have suggested, or the water requirement which is required for the cleaning. Because somehow the like, if you are considering the case of like rooftop paneling, then the water requirement to like bring the water over there to the roof, it's like energy intensive process. So like we have still this mindset that we should go for the like solar energy because we have made certain like obligations to have this criteria, but we are not considering the cons. So this one.
Sir, I have a question for you. Sir, I would like to know the longevity of the bamboo. As you mentioned, the development of the bicycle to the bamboo, but I would like to know that how it is going to affect the person's livelihood. How much efforts or energy he has to put in like every year or every alternative year to build it up. Because the reason of coming up, probably I'm wrong also, to take the steel is because it has a bit of longevity, so they don't have to put in that much of energy in it.
नाम बोल दीजिए.
Abhiti.
Madam, please.
I have actually,
जय जी नाम बोल.
Joya Roy. I have actually no experience or expertise in either of these topics, but I would like to ask this question because I think Professor Risto, he raised the use of lithium for batteries to store domestically produced solar surplus energy. Was it for domestic surpluses? And I thought that has huge ethical and political problems attached. Because I saw a film where a reporter secretly went into the mines. Lithium is mined in very few places. One is on the Tibetan Plateau, one of the biggest, China is one of the biggest producers. And you know the political and ethical questions involved there. The second is in an African country where between two warring militias, with the government standing quiet, benefiting from both, children and women are pushed down into these very deep mines, getting deeper and deeper. And I saw a film in which the reporter addressed this to Nokia in Finland and another cell phone producer, because it's one of the major components of cell phone batteries, isn't it? And they couldn't answer this question. And if we are going to go in for lithium batteries to store solar surpluses generated in domestic things all over the world, then it's going to be a big problem. And my second question was, you will really see what kind of a lay person I am. Do the solar flares, these irregularities in solar plasma eruptions and things, do these impact these solar PV systems?
Any other or can?
Sir, I have an add-on question. Sir, I would like.
Just hold on, because those I request those who have already asked. If there are others who have not asked, then will come
It's
back.
just an add-on question. Just one.
Okay.
Sir, I would like to know what is the maintenance cost of the solar panels?
Last in the first round, maintenance cost.
My name is Joseph. I work on the
माइक
state
माइक
committee.
खोलिए जोसेफ जी
I think I'm pretty loud. Okay.
नहीं पर वो रिकॉर्ड होगा ना
Oh, that's all right. So, I am very sorry to say this, but in our country we have a very monkey see, monkey do sort of behavior wherein we see anything in the West and we just copy it blindly. Solar, at one time we were talking about hydroelectricity and we were taking models from Europe and putting it all over, and we made a mess of the Himalayas and a lot of other places where the water systems are completely ruined as a result. We are talking now about solar, where, as you said, land use is a big issue, wherein you're taking up land, you're using up water. But the other issue that's not being considered, because we are talking about sustainability, we are not considering the conservation aspect of it. Where you have solar in arid areas, it's also seen that desert ecology is also affected. Biodiversity is affected. Wind power you speak about, wind power has been known and studied and proved to cause human health issues and biodiversity issues, but we are pushing it blindly in this country. There are alternatives other than that, as the biomass, as you mentioned, is a big source. Biogas is something we've been sitting on for the past 40, 50 years, but have not even considered. Parts of Europe is now moving towards biogas and biomass, in a large way. In fact, over solar. The other thing, we are a peninsula. Why aren't we thinking of wave generation? That is a secondary source which is sustainable, and we've got barely any research there. Many countries in Europe are doing research in the universities on wave generation, but there's nothing there here. We're just copying systems. Why aren't we looking at the local scenario and developing solutions that are local? We took the entire power grid system from the rest of the world and said we're going to have a centralized system and it's going to be all over the nation. And how much energy are we wasting? Transporting energy from one place to another. Generating it somewhere, wasting it somewhere else. On the way, we are losing a lot. Like 30 to 45%, I think, is 22, right? So we are still losing a certain amount of energy in that process. Why aren't we looking at, say, local sustainable energy solutions that are microgrids?
Okay, right now, I think there are 6 or 7 questions. We can start responding, but I think we'll have to respond also now briefly, because the time, roughly around 20 minutes to 20 minutes. We still would like to start.
If I start with lithium, all the batteries in mobile phones and for computers and electric cars at the moment use lithium. I totally agree that we should get rid of that, because at least lithium should not be the main ingredient in future batteries in electric cars and in the batteries used for large-scale electric storage. Because one problem is, you mentioned some of the problems, there are other problems. One of them that most of lithium is in very low purities, so that you have to mine large areas of land in order to get enough of it. And the third is that both lithium-6 and lithium-7 can be used to make very large atomic weapons. You of course need plutonium or uranium as well, but you can use them in the second and third states of very large nuclear weapons. So I think that the sooner we can move to sodium batteries, the better. Sodium for sodium we don't need any mines, because every plant that is producing drinking water from seawater is producing sodium chloride every day in huge quantities. Otherwise, you asked about solar flares. A very large solar flare, if it hits the Earth's magnetic field in a certain type of angle, it can get inside the magnetic field, and then it strengthens the Earth's magnetic field and causes something called geomagnetic storm. And this geomagnetic storm can induce current in power transmission lines, and it can fry very big, the largest grid transformers, and it can destroy an electric grid. something like this has last happened in 1859. So, but if that kind of event would happen, again, many, not most, the world's electric grids would be destroyed for years or decades. And because it would destroy something like 2,000 extremely high voltage transformers, and their world production is 100, and they are all made in China at the moment. So this is a real issue. Whether it would affect solar panels would depend on whether they are grid-connected systems or not grid-connected systems. It would not affect solar panels which are not connected to the electric grid. But if the solar panels are connected to electric grids, they stop functioning if the grid goes, because every grid-connected solar power system is programmed to do so that the inverter cuts the power circuit immediately when the grid falls, in order to protect the safety of the people who come to repair the grid. So this is an important issue which should be discussed more. The maintenance cost of solar panels is zero, except if you want to clean them in order to increase the production. They little by little they stop producing less and less. And if you clean them, the production remains higher for a longer time. But otherwise, there is no maintenance cost unless there is an accident or something. In cities, the water used for cleaning is a problem. In rural areas, you could do so that you integrate agricultural production and power production, and then the water used to clean the solar panels becomes irrigation water. So it also waters the crops, and then it's not lost. But in cities, it's more difficult to do this. There are a number of companies which are developing solar panels that keep clean without any water. I don't have the details. They don't tell them. They are very strictly guarded secrets. But they say that they are developing and they are close to succeeding. But I can't really know that.
If you want to respond to something. Yeah. This is titanium dioxide based.
Yeah. First about the longevity of bamboo. For example, actually I have seen hundreds of old houses, at least 100 years old. Bamboo, when protected by design from the natural elements, sun and rain, actually acting together. If one of them is completely cut off, it can withstand the other's effect. Usually it is the rain which damages much more than the sun. So if they are protected like that, bamboo can last for centuries. At least we have at least 200-year-old houses I have seen all over India. Okay. Now, the old tiled houses used to be supported by flattened bamboo. The bamboo remains useful even after a 150-year-old tiled house is pulled down, where water did not leak. Okay. So that's the reason why I suggested this is for the civil engineers and architects to address the problem. Why don't we split, have an outer skin of thin transparent sheet which keeps the rain out but lets in sunlight, and then use the sunlight for whatever, solar photovoltaic, thermal concentrator, or good old natural way of using solar energy for photosynthesis, for making food. Your choice.
So here I'd like to ask you, what's the role of humidity then? Like we are cutting out the rain and the precipitation, but what about the internal humidity?
Humidity is, as we already pointed out, above some 50 or 60% when the ambient temperatures are well over 35 degrees centigrade, are anyway terrible for humans. So for our own benefit, we better control them. And humidity control is not a terribly energy intensive process in confined environments. You can't control the humidity of the whole city, but within your house, humidity control is a very low energy process.
I just want to know whether
Maybe without going into back and forth, because we'll come back, if we have time, then we'll come back for another round. There are still 2-3 questions that are.
I would like to ask,
Please.
answer, why not microgrids?
Yes,
When
yes,
somebody
please.
else asked. I perfectly agree with you there. I think microgrids are the things that we need to grow in fact, the solar flares problem is also, this is a good protection. Yeah. So, which means, I'm not an expert in interconnecting several microgrids. The moment there is some sensation of a huge solar flare, maybe you could just disjoint all the microgrids, so that whichever grids are directly affected, they go fat, but at least the ones which are not affected, they remain stable. But apart from that, the biomass, you see, this is a continuous problem. This is a 40-year-old problem. People thought, at least the Berkeley professor thought that removing all the toxins in the smoke should be an easy problem. But after 4 decades of dedicated work, they keep on discovering hundreds of new chemicals in the smoke. Now, that brings me to a possible question to solution. If a problem persists, is there a way we can use it? Now, smoking is a good, proven, traditional way of preserving timber and also food. Okay, so if every house has a wood stove, which is reasonably well designed, and the tail smoke is captured and used to actually treat bamboo and other degradable materials like thatch, dry thatch, so that they are smoked in the sense that the poisonous volatiles are absorbed by that and they become filters. And once the filter is saturated, you take it out and put a fresh filter. So that is one possibility. Again, so it's only possible to think of this kind of interventions in micro production systems. Again, as I said, there is nothing you can do with 10,000 megawatt of thermal energy that is thrown out at 55 degrees centigrade into the atmosphere. But imagine a few tens of kilowatts or a few kilowatts of thermal energy at 55 degrees centigrade or 60 degrees centigrade thrown out from decentralized small production systems. That is the most ideal thing to rapidly dry your grains, chilies, a host of agricultural production. Drying is the simplest operation, where temperature should not exceed 55 degrees centigrade. Otherwise, the food quality, aroma, and nutritive content of the food gets affected. So, very low grade heat, which is considered thermodynamically and from engineering point of view useless, it is the most sought after thing for drying grains in agriculture, post harvest processing. This is only possible with micro production systems. Okay, so I think I'm all. This is a field which is not looked at because there is no rocket science there. I don't think you can really produce any papers in the high impact journals. So that takes out all the incentives for research into this.
I think there are a few questions which were like, one was on the rooftop. I think Pushpaji raised this. See, like Risto is saying, like it has been tried in many places. Even in India's 100,000 megawatt target by 2022. Later on it was sort of modified to 40,000 megawatt from rooftops, 60,000 from greenfield. But where the greenfield solar photovoltaic plants are expanding more or less on schedule, little bit behind. The total installed rooftop today, after this many years, and 22 is just 4 years, is less than 2,000 megawatt. And there are economic reasons for that. It's not a technical block. There are economic reasons for that. I'll not go into that because human beings don't always act on a given technological rationale. If you have a ready accessible supply, there is a resistance, there is a block in investing, changing to a system that can be changed, but there is a block that needs to be recognized, and then social economic systems have to be designed accordingly. That has been given very less attention. That's one. The other, I just wanted to point out, like you said, why the cons. Again, I'm saying I'm all for solar. I know we have to shift out fastest way from the fossil fuel systems. But what I was just pointing out, it's not all rosy. The path is not all rosy. A lot of questions remain, and some of the so-called cons, as you said, I pointed out. But the other is not only lithium. Bolivia, incidentally, one of the most environmentally friendly country, Bolivia, is banking heavily on lithium mining and extraction and selling. So there is a huge conflict already in Bolivia because it is all in the indigenous lands, the Bolivian lithium reserves. But it's not only lithium. The moment we go into a new system, like what happens to neodymium, lanthanum, the rare earths. The rare earths are rare earths. It's not like iron, it's not like aluminium, it's not like silica. They are rare earths. So these are very, very few places, and for wind systems or some solar systems, we need those. Those are not insurmountable problems, but those are serious problems. And we cannot oversimplify that, okay, tomorrow we can go full speed ahead on solar. And as I'm again and again saying, any new energy system production, bringing a entire new system while you keep the old system running at full steam, loads the system, existing system, even more. That has not been taken into account. And these are serious calculations. We cannot oversimplify that. I think I'm only trying to highlight that without, like Risto said, we have done this. And I don't think we should go into that, but I will say that internal combustion engine is very inefficient, true. But a solar photovoltaic panel, present day, the economically available commercial field condition panels in India, China, they don't go above 18%, less than 18%, field condition, even monocrystalline ones. And most of the power plants in India are using either polycrystalline, the better companies, many are using amorphous cells with 8% efficiency because it's costless and the land is being given almost free. So these are political economic considerations. There is a possibility to install an 18% to 20% panel, but that will cost much more. There is a possibility of installing a tracking system, either tracking or manual tracking. A tracking system would have increased the power production by 23 to 24%. But that's nowhere in India. Very rare places in China you will find a tracking system. All are fixed system, even in greenfield areas. So there are political and economic conditions that are driving some choices, and these can be tackled. There is no problem which cannot be tackled, except you can't consume more than what the earth can produce and recycle. That's one problem we can't tackle. So we have to cut down our consumption. We cannot have US and Europe consume as much, and then India keep on going and consume as much per capita in Europe and US. Europe and US has to come down. There's no other way. And even if you go solar, entirely solar and wind and web, for instance, web systems are being being experimented with Tamil Nadu. There are several systems which are being experimented with, different models. It's not that nothing is happening, it's happening, not in enough scale. So my point is only that, not to oversimplify, there are very, very large challenges. There are schools, or there is a school which talk about the biological route to energy, like Professor Sudhakar is repeatedly mentioning. There are very, very well-read, well-researched persons who propose that the almost entire energy system has to move to biological route. Those are all extreme positions, and many extreme positions, they are putting their things in their way. And I think what we need to do is bring in what is feasible and see the system as a whole, which often is not being done. That's the only thing I was pointing out. Because unless you see the entire macro system, just saying, oh, solar, efficiency can be raised from 18 to 23. Now panels will be coming in, I think 2 years, 3 years, or 22, 23% in field condition. But still, it will not go 60%. So that the limitation that internal combustion engine has, and for instance, you said 45%, Indian coal plants has an average efficiency of 30%. Just coal to electricity. Then an average 6% in-house, in-plant consumption. Then an average of 21 to 22% AT&C loss. So if you arrive at much less than 20, or around 20, 22. So none of the systems, you can just say, okay, this is efficient, this is inefficient. You have to look at the entire. Anyway,
Can I want to see.
and we have to end by another 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, please,
Okay,
you
okay,
go ahead.
please go ahead.
Have your question.
K.K. Roy Chaudhary. I'm very much into technical analysis of energy, environment and climate change. One thing I found missing in discussion is request to all the panelists to highlight little bit on the waste-derived fuel, which has substantial potential to be included in the energy basket as the country is planning for the new integrated energy policy. What are your perspective in terms of regulatory policy and all these things to drive use of waste-derived fuels to enhance waste management?
In this, I'll request because the presentations were not for everything. So RDF, other sources, we could have gone into why now somebody has not presented on geothermal, why nobody has presented on ocean thermal energy possibilities. That's valid question, but we don't have enough time to address everything, and that was not the purpose. The two speakers presented two sides, quite broad sides. We also tried to bring in what are the problems. RDF is a possibility, but there are also again debates on that. And how much of your refuse should go back to the land as fertilizer, how much can be used as fuel. So there are debates on that. But we can have discussion on that over tea for some of this. And
Allow me.
I think Professor Sudhakar will have the last answer, and I'll request the next other questions and answers can happen over tea, and then I have an announcement to make for the next session.
So lest it may appear that I am against solar energy, let me point, I perfectly agree with him. You know, the market profit drives the positive or negative things of any technology. I would, with all the quotation, cautious quotations that have been put out for solar energy, unhesitatingly, I think the first use of solar energy, I would say exclusively solar rooftop energy, if it is used only for powering the batteries of e-vehicles. I am not saying necessarily lithium-ion batteries. There are, over lack of auto rickshaws, e-auto rickshaws, they are perfectly happy with lead-acid batteries. They cost less, and the operational cost difference in the cost of energy is nothing, is next to nothing. And of course, lead acid comes with a big tag of pollution with heavy metal lead. But those things apart, these are all the problems. These are all, lithium has a problem, sodium is coming, there are so many things that are coming in the pipeline. But today's IT, Internet of Things, makes it possible to track which electrons are going to where with a very high degree of reliability. You cannot cheat. If you charge your e-batteries in the vehicle through your own grid, you can be charged 30 rupees per unit of electricity, and you would still be happy and saving about 25% of your fuel bill. Now, if this is not good enough, what else is good enough in promoting solar energy, photovoltaic energy, or green energy for transportation system? Please think of it.
Thank you, Professor Sudhakar. I think we have now absolutely beyond the limits. Now we have to stop here, but before that, there's an announcement. The next session, after half an hour of tea break, where the discussion can continue, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is SADE's working group on democratizing comprehensively and globally, is organizing a discussion on challenge of deepening democracy in Europe. And Risto Isomaki is here. So he is actually quite involved in the democracy debate, how to deepen democracy in Europe. He will be one speaker, and Dr. Shambhu Srivastava will be the other speaker, and I believe Vijay Pratapji will be coordinating.
Shambhuji is chairing.
Chairing, okay. Okay, he will be chairing this discussion, moderate the discussion. So this will be from 6:30, and before ending, on behalf of the organizers, we thank all of you very much. In fact, there was a much larger than expected participation, and I think everybody listened to varied presentations and raised very good questions, and I'm sorry that we had to cut down the questions and discussions because we don't have time. But I think if we take down email addresses, phone numbers not for Risto obviously, but others, then we can continue the discussion. And as Professor Sudhakar says, if you can you can track electrons, it's much easier to track the emails.
सुधाकर जी का वो लगा सकते हैं क्या या slide address?
Anybody who is interested in continuing the discussion over emails or other means, they can take the contact addresses and emails. So thank you again, thank you very much. Let's have tea there.